Good morning and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Port Richey. Our service will begin in a few moments.
Please come forward and join us for our opening song. And if you've got $1 or $2 or $5 or some change, please drop it in the box for our mission to feed the hungry.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to stop. And once I decide to change my mind, love will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. Love is my decision.
I retired from Unity of Sarasota 3 years ago, and since that time I have been what we call a minister at large. And it is my honor and my privilege to be here this morning to play with you, to serve with you, that we all may come together and something new and different can arise simply because we crossed each other's path in seemingly innocent ways. May we leave today enlightened, empowered, uplifted. We know that we had the opportunity to light our candle, and I get to work this thing, and it works. That's good. So because your energy is so high, you're probably the reason that the music did not play over there. But let's hope that that isn't the case throughout the service. Unity is a positive path. It is a practical path for spiritual living. We acknowledge all paths that lead to the center of God. And wherever you are on your journey, we know that you are welcome here, right where you are. We trust that something good is happening today in your life. And we also invite you, if you're on YouTube, if you're on the streaming service, wherever you are, to join us again. And if you're watching on Facebook, we know that your presence matters, your participation matters, your life matters, and what you do and what you say and are in this world deeply matters. So, as you know, I'm Elizabeth Thompson. I've been in the Unity movement since 30-some years, which dates me pretty much, and I'm delighted to be here. We have a reading for today, and the word for the day is balance. And Karen, who has been an amazing individual, helping me find my way, is going to be sharing.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You will please relax and settle into your heart space. We take these words into our heart. With God, I live a life of balance. Work can be a fulfilling use of my talents and efforts. I may enjoy the challenge of growing in responsibility and using my ambition to accomplish great things. But if I work too much or for too long, my energy might start to wane and my thinking become dull and uninspired. Likewise, too, much leisure time may rob me of motivation and pull me into a spiral of inactivity. Spiritual practices bring precious balance into my life. Through prayer, I touch eternity and feel the presence of God within. Through meditation, I focus my mind and feel calm and grounded. Through speaking affirmations, I claim divine ideas and act on inspiration. In gratitude, I find balance in God, the one presence and one power in my life. And from Job 3:31-6, let me be weighed in a just balance, and let God know my integrity. Namaste.
representing Unity, and we'll be giving out stuff and everything. We're going to have volunteers there. So next week I'll have a sign up sheet for that. It's just a couple hours and you just sign up and come and hang out. We do need a couple of people in the morning to help set up, and then extra in the evening to break it down. So stand down, that's coming at the end of October. You have to go online to register for this. This isn't nothing we can do here. So again, you just go on to One Community Now and hit events, and this will come up and it'll show you where to register. Newsletter that you get every week will have all this information in it as well. If you're not getting a newsletter, go to our website, go to the very bottom of the page, click sign up for newsletter, and then you'll be up to date with everything. Is anyone new here today? If you are, I have a packet of information, so if you would like to see me after the service, and I'd be happy to share that information with you. Next Sunday, we have Karen, our special guest speaker, look at Karen. So again, she's going to be talking about the Moses Code, so you don't want to miss that. And so we haven't been doing this, so we're doing it now. If you have a birthday in September, would you please stand? We'd like to sing happy birthday to you. Let's see if the music comes.
Close Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
I wonder what would happen if every time we had an encounter with anyone, we were able to say, "Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. I'm diving into a new day, a new moment, a new opportunity to let God be God in me now. I'm ready to let God be God in me now." Take this with me. I'm ready to let God be God in me now. My friends, that's the hero's journey. It's an inside job. It's an inside decision. It's something that we take moment by moment, choice by choice. It's not about letting the outside rule us, but about the decision that the inside, where Spirit resides as us, begins to take charge. And I've been finding out that the most empowered communities that I've ever experienced are the communities that don't agree with each other, are the communities that are willing to stay in the conversation, and are the communities that creatively collaborate for a world that works for all. It's a beautiful journey when we're willing to take it together. And I would think that Unity of Port Richey is at a crossroads. I don't know, I'm intuiting this. We're making sense as communities, as individuals, as countries, as the world, to make sense of a world that seems to have lost its mind. It's requiring us, whether we're ready or not, to hear the call to come up higher, to hear the call and answer it as the hero, as the liberated Christ self that we are here to be. After all, this is what we've been teaching for well over 130 years as a New Thought movement. It's hearing the call from our higher self. It's a willingness to listen without knee-jerk reactions. It's also a willingness to take in the seed of the call, the glimmer, the still small voice, and allow it to incubate in our soul. And allow it to take hold. It's as if we are conceiving a new idea, a new understanding. And I think for me, most importantly, is our willingness to make peace with our reluctance. Our willingness to make peace with that part of us that says, "Hell no, I won't go and you can't make me." That part of us that grasps in fear to new things, to new ideas, to change in our life. Sheriff Wilson, who leads in Sarasota, had a type of outreach that he had been dreaming of for years, that would reach across the boundaries of creed, of color, of religious orientation, of class distinction. And he had his opportunity just this past week with his sheriff's deputy, Mubarak, who, before he became a deputy sheriff in Sarasota, served as an Afghan translator in the Special Forces during that wonderful little episode that lasted 20 years. He was both for the Special Force and the Marine Corps in Afghanistan. And only recently, this past week, he has made a goal, ready or not, to bring 34 of his relatives who somehow made it out of Afghanistan and who are currently in Fort Bliss, Texas. He wants to bring them all to Sarasota, 34 of them, and allow them, help them settle into a whole new life and a new way of life. And don't you know, it's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of work. But I know, and it's always been proven in my life, that when I make a decision to dive in deeper, when I make a decision to let love be my guidepost, when I lead from the higher call that arranges itself in my heart and in my mind, that the universe begins to move. And the universe has moved beautifully in Sarasota with some of the churches. The Church of the Redeemer has raised $60,000 in this effort and presented it to the sheriff's office just recently, Friday afternoon. And the Church of the Redeemer has raised another $20,000 among the parish. The universe responds, not when we do knee-jerk action, but when we get ready and dive in, when we have the opportunity to consider what is it that God is wanting to express through me now. How am I to be in this situation? We know that toxic responses have had their day, and that the world is too complex for us to resort back to stinking thinking. The world is way too complex for us to have knee-jerk reactions from what happened yesterday, because the solutions for today's problems are in the imagination, in the hearts, in the minds of those who have gotten ready, who have dived in, who have made love their decision. We have climate change, we have immigration, we have opinions, we have beliefs that are at odds with facts. There was an individual that said something, I loved it. He said that not understanding something is not the same thing as misunderstanding. And when we are seeking the truth or to come on higher ground, the misunderstanding is when we believe fervently that the facts that we're operating from are right when they're actually wrong. It's time to let not understanding be a beautiful invitation to come up higher. Speak, Lord, I am listening. I received a bumper sticker recently. It said, "Fight hate." What's wrong with this? Whoops. Well, I'll say that too.
Well,
No.
okay, so that's.
Yep, go forward. The path to power always includes a journey into the unknown. And then the bumper sticker that I received, I believe.
Is it on? Is your clicker on? No.
You see? You have to turn it on. And you want to go with the arrow that's going forward. And I guess that would be that way.
And you can, there you go.
I want applause. So I received this bumper sticker that said "Fight hate," and I considered it for a moment. I paused, and I thought, well, what is this about? Where is my resistance? And then I was thinking, well, if I fight hate, then I have to hate what I'm fighting, and if I hate what I'm justice system, which I thought he had a big hand in. He said, returning hate for hate adds a deeper darkness into the night that is already devoid of stars. That darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So as this polarization has increased, we recognize that we're here to create a safe space. I often tell my husband or anyone that's around me if I'm having a snit, you may or may not see it, but I will tell them, it is not safe to be in my presence right now. Back off. And I think that's the kindest thing that I can possibly do. To recognize when I am not a safe person to be around. And we do that in our communities, in our homes. We do that in our churches. Is it safe for a stranger to walk through those doors in this beautiful sanctuary? I believe our decision is, I am a safe person to be around. This is a safe community to be around. I can love the things I fear into extinction. We know in our hearts already, it's not rocket science. We know what makes a healthy country. It's when we are willing to have love be our decision. When we're willing to stand at a crossroads and say, here I am, ready and able and willing to dance down this path of the unknown. And I'm ready to take a second look at the things that I resist and the things that I fear. I know how we do this. We begin by respecting exactly where we are. Well, you know what? Today, and it's a simple thing that allows us to do this, I decided to respect the back fat that I saw in the mirror this morning. I decided that instead of resisting the back fat that I can't see the flat stomach here, but you don't see when you hold that mirror, that there's some back fat there, and I have decided to stop hating it. What would happen if we took some of those things in our life that we resist and we stopped hating them? What would happen in our soul? Do you suppose that the reciprocity of the universe would increase our experience of loving acceptance? That it is safe to be in my body, I no longer have to hate it. It is safe to be in my opinions, I no longer have to make someone else wrong. It is safe to be in my head. I no longer have to judge any other individual in order to lift up myself. Our hero's journey is made of unconditional acts of kindness. In just the days after the Tokyo Olympics, there was a Polish javelin thrower, and her name is Maria Magdalena Andrzejewski. And she decided to announce on Facebook that she was selling her silver medal to the highest bidder in order to raise funds for a beautiful 8-month-old little boy whose name was Milosik Malisa. And according to this page, he was already in hospice care in desperate need of a heart operation that he could get here in the United States. And so she said, I can do this. This might raise some funds, and indeed it did. It raised well over $125,000. Now the top bidder was a convenience store in Poland. And this convenience store, its name is Zabka, forgive my pronunciation, said, no, we will be glad to donate the $125,000 for this beautiful child's operation, and you can keep your medal. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. When we dive in, providence moves. When we allow the seed of the hero's journey in our decision to show up as God created us, enlightened, empowered, inspired, we move mountains. This is what Jesus Christ said. Our faith moves mountains. It did for Deputy Sheriff Mubarak with his family. It did for Maria, willing to sell her gold medal. It does for each one of us. I'm inviting Unity of Port Richey to begin this incredible journey of calling their new minister, their new spiritual leader, not from who they were yesterday, not from who they are even in this moment, but from who they are becoming as an empowered, enlightened, awakened, spiritual community. Let's just pause for a moment and consider, what does it mean to be enlightened? Breathe into it. Let Spirit reveal it. What does it mean to be an empowered community? Breathe into it. What does it mean to be inspired and willing to live out loud this inspiration? The pause that refreshes. Unity has made and given the world, based on a lot of its own research and its own practice from well over 250 years ago by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, it has given the world permission to be positive. It's given the world permission to be awake and alive. It has dared the world to claim its own divinity without excuses, without apology. Diving into our own divinity lets us know that we are on an amazing path. And this path leads us into a beautiful space. We're here to live, breathe, and act from our heart's wisdom. Now that sounds so simple, right? I was reading a book the other day that said mastery of anything requires at least 10,000 hours of practice. And not just any practice, right practice. So recently, I've been at this Unity meditation prayer thing for well over 35 years. And I think, well, maybe I put in 10,000 hours. How come I don't feel like I'm a master yet? Because it does take right practice. It takes practice when we're driving. It takes practice when we're in lines. It takes practice when other people aren't following rules. It takes practice when people are resisting what seems to be practical, safe, distancing. When we can welcome those things that we resist and fear and reject as friends and master teachers, then we're on our way on our hero's journey for a world that works for all. Consider some of these things that Unity has given you, because you'll be using them in the next couple of months. Consider what it means to develop consistent prayer practices, affirmative prayer, the cultivation of the practice of the presence. How many of you all are aware of what it means to breathe through your heart? I'm sure you've heard of HeartMath. And yet practicing it, I know for me, still is a little bit of a challenge. We are aware of what it means to practice the presence of God, particularly when we really don't want to. And one of my favorites is the practice of denials. 20 years ago, I was looking into denials. Why don't I just choose what I desire instead of what I don't desire, right? Have you ever had that conversation? How do I do a denial? Well, I've recently, after 35 years of working with this stuff, discovered that unless I address my subliminal data that has been stored in my subconscious, that data continues to run until I clean it up. It's sort of like making a cake on top of a sewage plant. It just doesn't quite fit. I don't want you to stay there too long. Matt Kahn has said, while the ego has always looked for things to stop, the one thing that it has not learned to do is start something fresh. And I use the word in the denial process of the data. It's much easier for me to clear the data that no longer serves me, even if it takes 70 times 7, like the forgiveness of what Jesus said. It takes hours and effort to address the things I fear and resist. But eventually it works. Well, do you know, only 2 months or 3 months ago, I was a terrible sport. Now I'm just a bad sport. It takes a little bit of effort. And that's something that I've had for over 60 years. Is it worth my up-leveling it? Yes or no? Will it take a lot of effort? Have you ever seen me play a game of cards? The answer is yes. It will take the right effort. And it takes, just like accepting the back fat that I have, accepting that I have a pattern of thinking the world is against me if I'm not winning at cards. Go figure. Doesn't make much sense, and it doesn't need to. But when we stop trying to get rid of that, or eliminate this, and transcend that, Matt says, as long as we have this approach in our life, we simply redecorate the ego with a whole new costume. Our lives are one dynamic prayer. We are always choosing what to put into the incubator of our soul. And when we feel the call to come up higher, and when that call deepens as the urge, this is the universe's time to say, it's time to dive in. There's something for you to do here and now. There was a Harvard graduate by the name of Allison Renew. You can see her. She's the tall lady without the scarf around her head. She has 11 children of her own, very well educated. But there was plenty of room in her heart for the members of the Afghanistan all-girls robotic teams, a.k.a. they're called the Afghanistan Dreamers. And she became a very tight-knit group person, part of this group, in 2019 when they met in Washington, D.C., on the Human to Mars vision. And so the words, the actions that these ladies took resided in her heart. So when, in the last couple of weeks or months building up to the recent Taliban takeover of Afghanistan, she became increasingly uneasy, as you can imagine. She was unable to shake the fear, the concern that the dreamers were in somehow imminent danger. That's when we know it's time to act. We can feel this urge, we can feel this concern, and we can transcend the ego saying, there's nothing I can do, there's nowhere I can go. She did not listen. She addressed that data by saying there is something I can do and I will do it. There are strings I can pull and I will pull them. There are places I can go that I can help make these girls get out of Afghanistan safely. And she did so. Without permission, without knowing where she was going or exactly how she was going to do it, she went to Qatar and had some strings and some contacts there, and she began to work behind the scenes to let something manifest in a perfect way, and it did. She worked with the digital fund, the Digital Citizen Fund, it's the DCF in Qatar, a woman by the name of Elizabeth Brown, and together they began to work behind the scenes to bring those girls out, and 10 of them made it out. And yet it was Elizabeth Brown that said she credits the girls' grit and self-determination as a key factor in the outcome. In other words, their full-hearted participation. There were 10 that left. They left some of their family members behind, they left their friends behind, but they claimed a new vision for themselves that was, I'm sure, very fearful. And yet, staying behind was not an option. Elizabeth Brown says, ultimately these girls saved themselves, which is so wonderful, so powerful. And as soon as they were in Qatar, they're being arranged to come back to the United States. But as soon as they made it to Qatar, Providence, the universe rushed in. It always does. When we have the decision to love, when we dive into our highest calling. All of those girls who have made it out at this time had several offers from universities all over the United States for scholarships. They're taken care of. They will continue because they have in the past. They know how to rescue themselves. They know how to lean into the opportunity, just as Unity of Port Richey knows how to lean into the opportunity and know that the minister is being called as each one of us in this community rise up. Even when we're working our way through the depths of physical, emotional, or energetic healing, the key, the power, is in focusing on loving choices. We love those people who thwart us, even as we love ourselves. We take a moment to understand who they are as we understand who we are. We are willing to recognize that there is power in this presence. And this power offers solutions. One of my favorite opportunities for spiritual advancement is, what am I going to do with the oceans and the microplastics? Well, all over the globe, you see this montage of pictures. In the middle, you see a man with this funny-looking machine. It was students that designed this machine, that is, to pick up plastics. It covers, in 1 hour, 33,000 square feet picking up plastics. Is there hope? There are many other, if you look at the where the coral reef are, there is so much effort in restoring our coral reefs and so much effort in cleaning up our oceans. And the gentleman who designed, from Finland, I don't remember his name, who designed that big track to address the Pacific plastic state, the size of Delaware or Rhode Island, or probably the size of Texas, it has successfully picked up and reused all of the plastic, or much of the plastic that it has picked up, and now he is designing the same kind of thing to capture things in the river. And I have no doubt but that this will work. I feel hopeful. And if you look down there at the bottom left, you'll see those cars. That is pavement that is charging those cars who are electric vehicles and have a little adapter. And its prototype will be in Indiana in this winter. I believe it's this winter. And then if you look at that man holding that shiny thing, that is steel that is made from a plant that is not coal-fired. Is there hope? Absolutely. Now, and do we have something that we can participate in that will help? You all are having a cleanup on the ocean. You're feeding the hungry. You are putting Unity of Port Richey into action by allowing these individuals, like all of us that want to participate, to make a difference. Alexa was programmed when someone said, "Are humans spiritual beings? Are we special?" And Alexa was first programmed to go, I'm not sure. But when her programmer heard that, he decided to cajole her into a new opportunity of thinking. And he said, he asked her again, and she said, "Well, I believe," imagine this, Alexa saying this, "I believe that animals have souls, as do plants, as do inanimate objects. But the divine essence of the human soul is what sets the human being above and apart. Humans can choose, not merely react to their environment, but to act upon it." Now, I don't have Alexa in my house and don't want her listening to my thoughts and my feelings, and don't want her suggesting things on my computer. But I do respect that response. Friends, ultimately, we are saving ourselves. Ultimately, we are all diving in, ready or not. Ultimately, a world that works for all means that we are willing to embrace our differences and those who differ from us. In a world that works for all, we're not leaving anyone out, no matter how vehemently we may disagree with their viewpoint. Go ahead and take a pause and breathe that one in. You've come a long way. In a world that works for all, individuals can own their own choices and embrace their own opportunities to serve and to celebrate. In a world that works for all, communities mean conscious, creative collaboration for the highest and best. We're on a hero's journey, whether we like it or not. Joseph Campbell said this, and I'll close. If you can see your path laid out in front of you step by step, you will know it's not your path. Your own path that you make is with every step that you take, every decision, every impression. And that's the hero's journey. Let us prepare for meditation. Let us have an amazing song that Ken is going to sing.
Yeah. Oh. Good morning, everyone. I was born to live life, don't leave it to take up on the way of life without a safety net. Sorry. To follow something even bigger than my pride. To show up with courage even when I'm trembling inside. And I will not worry about what others think of me. And I will not be shackled by the chains of conformity. I'll break the bones that in the past keep pushing till I'm free at last. I'll follow the path of my heart and make my life a work of art. We are fearless. Come on. We are fearless. Woo! Fearless.
Wow, I love that song, and I love you, Karen. She tackled it. When did you get that music? A couple days ago, and she said, I can do this. And the beautiful thing about being fearless is we can take our energy from that song of being fearless and move it into that sacred space within us and ask our question. Two of my beautiful friends, Stogood, have made this song. Lord, what will you have me do today? There'll be an opportunity for you to quietly sing along, but right now, just prepare that sacred space right where you are.
Lord, what would you have me do today?
Oh Lord, what would you have me do today? Oh Lord, what would you have me do today? Oh Lord, what would you have me do today? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say? Will you whisper your will as I bow down to pray? Oh Lord, what would you have me do today? Oh Lord, what would you have me do today? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say? Will you whisper your will as I bow down to pray? Oh Lord, what would you have me do today? I am listening. 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 I am listening.
And as we listen, we recognize the still, small voice ever calling us upward, ever calling us onward, allowing us to engage life as the living Christ welcoming our interaction with all sentient beings as the offspring of the divine. Awakening within us the power, the wisdom, the life that heals our globe of humanity, that stewards our waterways and oceans, that invests in our forests and our earth, that respects the integrity of our air. Hearing the call to come up higher, we pause and listen in the silence. Lord, what would you have me do today? May this question keep you awake tonight.
We do have our chaplains and our chaplain service and our prayer box, which is in the lobby. So I encourage you that if you do have any prayers or perhaps special gratitude that is on your heart, that you can go ahead and write that down on a slip of paper that is in the pews ahead of you or at the prayer box, and just know that once it's placed there, all is done. Today we do have Lorraine Simpson, who is our chaplain on duty today. So if you would like to pray with her, she will be available over in the chaplain's corner. So if we could get our office, our ushers, as we prepare for offering. And please join me as we have our offertory blessing. In deep gratitude, I give way to the limitless flow of prospering substance. I am blessed with all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and the blessings are multiplied. Thank you, God. And now, if you will, please join me and Reverend Elizabeth as we sing the gratitude song. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude in me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Gratitude for me. Gratitude behind me. Gratitude to the left of me. Gratitude to the right of me. Gratitude above me. Gratitude below me. Gratitude within me. Gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
We take a moment and bless these offerings, recognizing that they come from the spiritual source of God in divine mind and divine heart. They come into being through divine activity, the dynamism that is all around on this planet that we tap into with every thought, with every feeling, with every word. And we know as we cooperate with this divine principle that everything we give not only blesses this amazing ministry, but goes forth to do the right and perfect work that heals and blesses our planet, and it returns in kind. Heaped up, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And for our increasing ability to walk the talk in love and in peace, we say, thank you, God. Together, thank you, God. And so it is. And we have the opportunity to do the prayer for protection. I so appreciate all of you. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen. So it